Hey everybody, it's Royalty Crypto here and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking about a lot of people's favorite meme coin, that being SPX6900. I'm also going to talk about why I believe there was a sell-off in crypto today and just a couple of other catalysts that I believe will be affecting the market in the next couple of days to weeks. Also guys, this is a brand new YouTube channel, so I would greatly appreciate it if you could smash that like and subscribe button. But without further ado, let's take a look at SPX6900. So as you guys can see, it is currently the 8th most valuable meme coin, technically 7th if you don't include meme core in there. And personally guys, I don't, because it seems like a scam to me, although I don't really know much about the project, but just based on the tokenomics alone, it just does not look like something you can trust. So let's just go ahead and say it's the 7th most valuable meme coin. It currently is trading at 58 cents. It is down about 5.5% in the past 24 hours, and it has taken a pretty significant hit in the past 7 days as it's down over 10%. The market cap is currently trading at 544 million, and the 24-hour trading volume is a bit low on this coin. As you can see, it's about 20 million in the past 24 hours. I definitely would like to see that go up in the next couple of months, especially if the altcoin market starts to gain some bullish traction. But guys, one thing about this coin that does differentiate itself from all the other memes is the fact that this coin is supposed to be an anti-trading coin, and a lot of the community members actually do live and die by that idea. So I do believe that that is why the trading volume is so low on this coin, and I also do believe that's why SPX has done so well in the past couple of years. Alright, so let's take a look at the chart. So basically, like every other meme coin in the space, we are around yearly lows for this coin. And as you can see, we did hit as low as 34 cents back in March when the tariff fears were basically at the highest point. But after we hit those price levels, we did actually rally to an all-time high for SPX at $1.85. This is unlike most meme coins, as most meme coins topped in late 2024, so it was very positive to see SPX really gaining a lot of momentum in this recent rally for altcoins. So in my opinion guys, if you are bullish on SPX 6900, I do believe that it is a great time to be accumulating down here at the 58-cent level. Now of course we could go lower, and it is always impossible to call the exact bottom for coins like SPX 6900, but in my opinion guys, whenever you're seeing this much fear in the market, it is a fantastic time to be taking a risk on coins that you truly believe in. Now, of course, this is not financial advice, this is just my opinion, and you should do independent research outside of this video, of course, but I do believe that there is a very high likelihood that SPX 6900 will return to its all-time high at just under a $2 billion market cap, and I think this coin could potentially even smash those all-time highs and get to as high as about a $20 to a $25 billion market cap. Of course, we would need extreme euphoria to enter not just the crypto market but the meme coin market as well in order for that to happen, but I do expect that to happen sometime in 2026 because of the mega bullish catalyst coming with the Federal Reserve starting quantitative easing and potential rate cuts coming in 2026, and Jerome Powell being replaced by somebody who's much more dovish. I do expect all of those things to cause mass euphoria in the crypto market at some point in 2026. But of course guys, I do recommend taking profits on the way up because nothing is guaranteed in crypto, and it's definitely not guaranteed that SPX 6900 could get that high in price. So in my opinion, you should be watching different indicators like the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, but I think it is very important to be taking profits on meme coins when we do get to the 85 to 90 range for the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, as that would signal that there is extreme euphoria in the market, and whenever the market is super bullish and everybody thinks we're going to a $1 trillion market cap on Bitcoin or whatever you want to say, that is when you need to be taking profits and getting out of the market. Because when people are extremely greedy, that means that the market is incredibly risky, even if it doesn't feel like that at the time. And as you can see guys, last time we had extreme euphoria in the market in late 2024, that period of time only lasted for about 3 to 4 weeks before we sharply corrected into about March to April of this year, and a lot of people, including myself, do regret not taking more profits during that time. So guys, make sure that next time we have a time like that in the market, you are not one of those people who is fully round tripping their bags, especially with coins like SPX 6900. Alright guys, so why do I think we saw a market sell-off today for crypto? I think it has everything to do with the fact that the Bank of Japan is set to hike rates for the first time in a long time next week on December 19th. So if you guys are unaware, there's something that's called the Japanese Japanese carry trade. And basically what that means is people have been taking loans out with the Bank of Japan for the past couple of decades, really, because the interest rate has been zero. Now, if the Bank of Japan ends up having to finally hike rates after all of this time, those people who did take out those loans to invest into assets like crypto, for example, a lot of those people will likely need to take profits on those assets and pay back those loans because they are no longer getting free money with the Bank of Japan. So I don't think this is that concerning in my opinion. However, this is causing short-term FUD, especially in the crypto market. So we'll just have to end up seeing what happens on December 19th with this hike. And likely, in my opinion, we could sell off up until that period of time, although nothing is guaranteed, of course. And then we could end up having a buy the news event because in my opinion, smart money will realize that once the Bank of Japan raises rates and markets don't completely fall off the table, that there is just less FUD for the markets to worry about, which in turn is a very bullish thing. So yeah, guys, just keep your eyes on this for the next couple of days just to see what potentially does happen with this rate hike. But now let's talk about something bullish. President Trump today has stated that interest rates should be 1% or lower next year. So this is obviously incredibly bullish to see. And the reason for that, and I know that President Trump doesn't get to decide interest rates, but he does get to decide who the next federal chair will be. And that decision will be coming sometime early next year, according to a couple of different sources that I've seen. So in my opinion, guys, this is going to create a very bullish catalyst for crypto because once Trump does announce his selection for the federal chair, it is most likely going to be a very dovish selection. And currently the person who is favored to win is Kevin Hassett, who is very dovish and he's also very pro crypto. So yeah, again, this is something to keep in mind whenever you start to feel bearish about the outlook of 2026. Think about these types of things because say Trump does get to elect Kevin Hassett and he ends up dropping rates to 1% or lower or even just around there, that is incredibly bullish for risk on assets and it will cause inflation to increase, which I do not think is great long term, don't get me wrong. However, if people start to worry about inflation, they are going to flock to assets like Bitcoin because they are worried about the US dollar. And basically what we have seen in the past is whenever the US dollar starts to lose strength, Bitcoin actually goes up in value because people start to trust Bitcoin more than the US dollar, as they should in my opinion. So we'll just have to see what happens with this next year. But in the short term, guys, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. And I know that a lot of you probably aren't holding Bitcoin. However, I do believe that if Bitcoin goes up, the altcoins will go up as well, and vice versa, of course. So as you guys can see, we are kind of at a decision point for Bitcoin right now, as I have this uptrending line that we have been respecting since about the middle of November, and then I have these two lines that represent heavy levels of resistance. And as you can see, we've actually hit the bottom portion of that resistance line at around 93 to 94,000 two times now, basically three if you count this. And I do think that it is very likely that the next time we hit this resistance level, we could finally break it and hopefully push towards the $96,000 range. However, if we fall below this trend line, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if we do fall all the way down to around 80,000 to 83,000 to retest this local bottom. I do think that a lot of this will depend on the Japanese carry trade situation, but at the same time, guys, long term, I am incredibly bullish regardless what happens in the short term. This is just a scenario that I figured I'd bring to your attention because it is important to look at both sides of the story when you're buying assets like crypto. So yeah, guys, if we do get some downwards momentum in the next couple of days, I don't think it's anything to worry about necessarily, but it is something that you should always be prepared for in the back of your mind. But alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you had a great Friday, and I will be talking to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.